Well, we found a beautiful little creek here in Northern Idaho. You can see that there's a little waterfall behind us, so you hear the sound of that water. But notice how pure it is. You can see right through to the bottom of the creek. You know, this reminds me of a verse in Psalms that I want to talk to you about in your morning cup of inspiration. I don't have my mug with me, but this is really a great verse. 42:1 says, "As the deer pants for the water brooks, so my soul pants for thee, O God." And verse 2 says, "My soul thirsteth for God, for the living God. When shall I come and appear before God?" You see, the psalmist is saying he just longs to be with God all day long. He can't wait until he can pray and until he can hear from God through his word. And I want to ask you, is that how you feel? Do you long after God? Do you thirst for him? You know that feeling on a hot summer's day when you've been out working in the yard maybe, and you're so thirsty you can't wait to get a cup of cold water, because nothing satisfies our thirst like water, and nothing satisfies our spiritual thirst like God. I feel like we're all born with a God-shaped void. Only he can fill. And then, of course, Jesus in the New Testament, when he was asked what was the first and great commandment, in Matthew 22, verse 37, he said, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment." And he goes on to say in verse 39, "And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." But think about that. Loving God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. That verse is talking about our number one priority, which is to love God with everything we've got. Are there things that come between you and God? What are your priorities? Is it a relationship? Is it a house? Is it a car? Is it your success? Is it your job? Nothing can take the place of God as our priority. And in today's world, it's more important than ever. We're seeing such evil all around us. So we need to be God's light. We need to let his living water flow through us so that we can share the good news of the gospel with others, and they too can find Jesus. He's the only one that will satisfy your thirst. I can imagine many deer have stopped by this creek and found that satisfaction of their thirst. I hope that you have God to satisfy yours and keep him number one in your life. I hope that inspires you, and I'll talk to you soon for another morning cup of inspiration.